Viewers, this is what misgovernance, apathy looks like. Look at these pictures: Ahmedabad, Jodhpur, Patna, Chandigarh, Jammu, Delhi, Mumbai, Goa, Pune, Hyderabad, you name it. Any city, viewers, which is connected by Indigo, people have been made to look like caged animals. Viewers, in which country would a private operator be allowed to get away with the manner in which it has treated its customers? And in which country would a minister who is in charge, who should be safeguarding your interest, be completely exempt from question, accountability? Viewers, had this happened in any other country, the minister, the CEO of Indigo would have quit in shame. Viewers, there is no other way of saying it except to call it out for what it is: a massive betrayal of public safety and a breach of public trust. In a span of 72 hours, the NDA's Civil Aviation Ministry, through its exemptions for Indigo, has betrayed you, the citizen of Bharat. The ministry quietly granted a so-called one-time exemption to Indigo, delaying the implementation of crucial flight duty reforms. To save whom, viewers? To protect you, your lives. These reforms were not ornamental. They were designed to ensure pilots get more rest, fewer red-eye shifts, and stricter limits on night duties so that you, the passenger, fly safer. The new rules extended weekly rest from 36 to 48 hours. They redefined night to midnight to 6 in the morning to reduce fatigue-heavy hours. They cut maximum night landings to 6 from 12, and they capped consecutive night duties at 2 per week. These were the rules, viewers. Each one of these rules that you see on your screens today has been waived. Almost each has been waived, viewers. These rules were the backbone of a safer sky, especially at a time when the Air India crash in Ahmedabad had already raised fresh doubts about various aspects of safety when it comes to aviation in this country. So why delay them? Why defer them? Because Indigo says it, quote, misjudged, unquote, its crew requirements, if you please, viewers. Yes. Viewers, Indigo would have required 2,422 captains to service the new reforms, the new safety norms. But their current capacity is 2,357. First officers flying A320s, viewers, they would have required 2,194. Their current capacity is 2,153. But is this really the issue? This is an airline that knew that hiring more pilots would have squeezed its margins. Do you think, viewers, an airline that occupies 70% of market share, has 400 planes, doesn't know the implications? That they would have miscalculated? Pilots, viewers, the error of margin is less than a meter. And you're telling me that the people who manage the pilots, their maths is so pathetic that they didn't know that the new safety norms, which would have made it mandatory to rest pilots, would have required X number of more pilots? Viewers, it's quite clear that Indigo knew that hiring more pilots would squeeze its margins, so instead of complying, it resisted. For nearly 2 years, despite the January 2024 court order upholding the new flight duty time limitations, viewers, they didn't hire enough pilots. 2 years and 1,200 cancellations later, viewers. They block excess airport slots, worsening fog disruptions. They're accused of creating crisis to push the FTTL exemptions. Viewers, and what's worse, the NDA government allowed it. So viewers, what happened? Sons and daughters who wanted to visit their ailing parents were stuck for hours without any information. And in desperation, viewers, they booked tickets with other airlines that extorted them, charged them thousands of rupees. Viewers, it's not just that. There are people who miss job appointments. A break in life has been denied to them. Viewers, there are others who couldn't attend funerals of their own parents and of their own children in some cases. Some couldn't get to their marriages, so had to get married virtually. Viewers, the watchdog that is supposed to guard against all of this has folded before the industry it is supposed to regulate. Who am I talking about? The DGCA. Who is it managed by? The Civil Aviation Ministry, the Uncivil Aviation Ministry. By giving Indigo extra time now, viewers, the ministry has compromised your safety. These norms, these reforms were crucial so that pilot fatigue or crew fatigue didn't set in, and your lives, my life, would not be compromised. Instead, viewers, the watchdog, DGCA, the Civil Aviation Ministry, it has chosen corporate convenience over public welfare. Why am I saying this, viewers? Because Indigo succeeded in buying time for nearly 2 years, even though the court upheld the implementation of the flight duty time limitations in January 2024. The transition came into force in 2 phases, July 1, 2025 and November 1, 2025, but Indigo lobbied for exemptions till February 2026, and it has got them. DGCA should have forced Indigo to stick to timeline and pass strictures for not confronting to new FDTL rules in the interest of passenger safety, viewers. What message does this surrender send? That rules meant to protect passengers can be bent if a dominant airline pushes hard enough? That fatigue limits are negotiable? That public safety is expendable? And it raises uncomfortable questions about regulatory capture and cronyism. The sacred understanding between the state and citizen is simple. You trust the government to enforce safety, the government ensures the industry complies. That understanding today lies in tatters. Indigo has won its exemption, but you, the citizen of Bharat, the sons, the daughters, the parents, the husbands, the wives, the grooms-to-be, the brides-to-be, the ones, you are the ones who have been betrayed today, viewers. And we have to ask questions because no one else is asking them. The people who are supposed to be asking the questions have surrendered, viewers, to blackmail. So we'll ask questions. And I'm going to ask pointed questions tonight. And I'm going to begin with Varun Kumar, leader of the TDP, to which the aviation minister belongs. Mr. Arun Kumar. The aviation minister decides to risk passenger safety, can you believe it? By crawling before Indigo. Creating first a duopoly and now crawling before the person who is calling the shots. Profits matter to you more? Sir?
Rahul ji, can I come in?
Okay. Of course, these are questions for you. Come in by all means.
Yes. Rahul ji, namaste. First, let me tell you that what happened is extremely unfortunate, and my sympathies are with every person who missed their flight. I was among them too. Okay, but having said that, no amount of words or statements that I say will cause comfort, convenience, or clarity to a passenger that underwent this unfortunate situation. The cost is beyond aviation. The losses that have happened doesn't appear in any balance sheet that we see in day-to-day life, but the costs are real and the costs are huge because it was incurred to a common man. I don't deny it. But also, having said that, Rahulji, there's nothing that I'm going to say now is going to defend any part of the whole process that is happening. But let me put my viewpoint on this. The whole regulations that FTTL were brought in only for the to regulate passenger safety in much better way. So the pilot to eliminate the pilot fatigue or to eliminate the stress on the pilots or the crew is definitely need of the hour as the aviation sees a grand increase of a cumulative average growth rate of a very significant percentage in Indian aviation sector. That's inevitable, yes. So as I brought in these rules were meant to be followed very strictly by all airlines, and one airline being a very dominant player in the Indian market is supposed to actually stringently follow this. But what happened today is the first thing that I take away from this whole episode is the information integrity that Indigo tried to eliminate from its due diligence. Because what I saw personally as a passenger, I'm talking to you as a passenger now. What I saw as a passenger in the airport today, especially in the Delhi airport, is that flights were not running on time. There were no pilots, but
Mr.
Indigo,
Kumar, Mr.
yes,
Kumar, Mr. Kumar. Look,
yes.
first, I appreciate the fact that you're so apologetic, but your boss is above account.
No, absolutely not, Rahul. Absolutely not, Rahul.
Of course. Why hasn't Mr.
People,
Chandrababu Naidu said, please step down? I won't stand for this negligence. We put you at the center to ensure that you would deliver services, that you would bring reflected glory to the TDP that is positioning itself as the party that wants to take us to modern India. Viewers, this is not just about the TDP. This is also about the BJP. This is about those who are managing the government. The Prime Minister, of course, viewers, hang on, just a minute. Everyone serves at the pleasure of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister just flick the switch and say, Mr. Naidu, I'm sorry, you have to go for this. I'm sure Mr. Brahmabat, who is here with us, a stranded passenger, will agree with me tonight that there should be accountability. Mr. Brahmabat, it's not as if, and let me tell you, yes, the gentleman from the TDP is being at least honest enough to say we messed up, but it's no surprise. This was happening. The benchmark for frequent and basic travel on time takeoffs were being missed by Indigo for a month and a half. This crisis was upon us all a month and a half ago. The DGCA, the Civil Aviation Ministry, saw it happen before its eyes and did nothing. And that's why, Mr. Brahmabat, tell us your story. Tell us what happened to you.
So, Rahul, yeah, you're absolutely right. Actually, for people like you, it's definitely a point for a government authority to really take a serious note on this. Because what happened is they completely missed the entire ball altogether. Like I was stuck at the airport since 8 o'clock, no message, no email of my flight being cancelled. And when I was just approaching the counter to drop my bag, I am being surprised that your flight has been cancelled. And I asked them politely, okay, so what is my next option? So what they said is, we may book you for tomorrow flight, but that is not even sure. And that's when I completely lost. I talked to people over the age of 70, 80, around. Believe me, I talked to some people and they had tears in their eyes because those old senior citizens, single ladies with little kids, they have been at Bangalore airport for more than 40 or 48 hours.
No, obviously.
Can you believe this? This
Obviously, Mr. Brahmabat, there was no
seriously,
regard for any of these people because there is an almost monopolistic hold that
Exactly
this
right.
airline has over the industry. So you can't go anywhere else, isn't it, Mr. Rao? Let me just 1 second, Mr. Brahmabat. Let me also bring in Mr. Rao because I'll bring you back in and I want to ask you 2-3 other questions, Mr. Brahmabat. Just hold on with me. Mr. Rao, you've been an ex-AI cabin crew. I want you to tell us, sir, how this situation has arisen, who's responsible? Don't mince your words, Mr. Rao.
Hi, good evening, Rahul. I won't mince my words. We are all asking and we are talking about the dispensation given by DGCA. But Rahul, do you know that with the amendment made to the aircraft rules in 2016, the powers of the Director General DGCA were taken away to give dispensation? And there is a judgment of the Delhi High Court. We filed that case. It says that Director General DGCA has no powers to give any extension, any dispensation, nothing at all. It has been taken away with the amendment. But today, this is it's becoming a tamasha. And I'm sorry, Rahul, today morning I wrote a letter and email to the minister. I said, if you cannot handle it, please go home. We see this day in and day out. Airlines have been looting people. Airlines have been troubling people. I mean, you at the drop of the hat, airline wants dispensation. Flight safety is not a joke. And I have been exposing this from 2008 onwards. And I've paid, as I said earlier, I've paid very heavy prices for this. Firstly, they don't have the powers to give that dispensation. And from 2023, they've been giving that dispensation. The amendment to the aircraft rule came in, and section 133A was read down by the Delhi High Court, saying once the amendment came into the aircraft rule on 16 September 2016, section 133A takes a walk. The DGCA, the Director General of DGCA, has no power to give dispensation. But this is a tamasha, this is a quid pro quo that has been taking place from 2008 onwards. This is nothing new. The DGCA is...
This is a scam. You're saying it's basically a scam. Is that what you're saying? Because it's coming across as that.
And I can prove it with documents, Rahul. On your last show, I showed you the documents. The DGCA is a Rip Van Winkle.
Rip
And I mince no words. I take full responsibility for the statements I make. And it is sad that the minister, either he is being hoodwinked or he doesn't know his job.
Please, sir. It's not happened overnight, Mr. Rao.
Yes,
this has been building up. These are couple of exemptions have been given.
This is a strategy, sir.
It's not the first one.
This is a strategy by the DGCA and the airline saying you create a tamasha, we'll give you the discount.
Mr. Damania,
it's as simple as that.
Mr. Damania, what is it about us that is so contempt-worthy? What is it about our consumers, about ordinary citizens like me, ordinary citizens that we're seeing on the screens that is so contempt-worthy that you can kick them around, that the industry can treat like animals, to be corralled, pushed around, kept waiting?
No.
Look at what is happening.
It's extremely sad what has happened. First and foremost, let's remember one thing, that Indigo is about 19 years old. So in 2020, next year it will be 20 years old. So this is not a new airline with a small fleet. It is a huge airline. And this kind of roster planning is not a rocket science. Everybody or anybody who runs an airline knows exactly what is the pilot and co-pilot requirement. It's not very rocket science.
We all understand that. But it's about profits. It's not about calculation. This is not about maths. This is maths of a very cynical type. That you will value profits more than passenger safety. This is a safety issue. Let's not make this about anything about, rostering and this and rest and all of that. This is a safety issue.
No, but apart from it, but
I'm asking you, should the license of this Indigo airline be snatched?
Of course.
No, it can be suspended. Let's look at the realistic situation.
No, why? So you can let people fly. Hang on, just a minute.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
One of these reforms that is wrong.
Why.
You see, this is the issue, viewers.
Had
this been Singapore, had this been any other country, that particular airline would have been suspended, consequences be damned. Just because you have allowed this particular airline, who allowed this airline, sir, to become a 70% monopolist?
All what you are saying, 1 minute, let me complete what I'm saying. All you are saying is completely right. These regulations are very, very important, and Indigo is taking people for granted. Unfortunately, in India, the situation is such that it's a duopoly system. We are absolutely dependent on two airlines and two airlines alone.
Who's responsible, sir?
I'm 100. No, the government. I'll tell you one thing. The minister also is in a fix. He knows what is happening. But today, how can we ask? How we can only financially punish Indigo? We can't do anything like shutting down or anything, because it's not possible. We are so dependent on them. Today, they call the shots because we as a country are dependent on them. They have become so big in such a mammoth company that we don't have an option. You are suggesting,
Mr. Damania, that actually blackmail is what Indigo thought that it could fall back on, and it is winning. after blackmailing the government that is supposed to be regulating this airline, viewers, is getting twisted.
government has
And this
taken- the
government
government-
tells us,
let's look at the
this government tells
situation.
us that we put seva, service first. We were told recently at the
government
beginning
passed
of
a law-
Parliament that as far as this government is concerned, it is about delivery. It is about seva. So I have to ask you, Mr. Rao, am I asking for the moon?
One minute. The minister, one minute. The Indigo chairman said, the Indigo CEO said, tomorrow there will be less than 1,000 flights cancelled. Now, listen to this. 1,000 flights means about 180,000 people. An Airbus 320, 321 carries an average of 100. So tomorrow also 180,000 people are going to be stranded. And at the same breath, the minister said, tomorrow there's going to be an improvement. So somewhere there is complete miscommunication between the ministry and the CEO of Indigo. See, I'll tell you something. They knew what was happening.
I am astounded, Mr. Damania, that you are looking at this like it's some sort of a spreadsheet. You see, the reforms are not some optical affectations. And this is my worry, Mr. Cherian. These reforms were needed to ensure that crews were not fatigued so that they could work optimally, make decisions so that you and I could fly. No, hang on, 1 minute, Mr. Damania, just 1 minute. I'm asking Mr. Cherian so that a person could fly from one destination to the other without having to worry about their safety. And now when you roll this back, you are going back on a reform, Mr. Cherian, that was supposed to guarantee passenger safety, and you have decided to compromise that because the government that is supposed to serve you is serving today the interests of an airline. How does that look to you, Mr. Cherian?
To me, it looks like the image of Indigo is so large and so powerful that everybody quakes in its presence. 1. 2. Where does that leave the passenger completely exposed to the fact that you have a 70% monopoly, a 2,200 flights a day airline, which is clearly not being monitored well enough to ensure that they are hiring the pilots. Don't forget that you have a regulator. It is not just a ministry. The regulator's job is to have watched, and on their watch, they should have seen that the airline is not going to be able to meet up to what the passenger safety norms are. Who is responsible? The corporate that has apologized so pathetically, the CEO who has come out and made a statement which sounds rather pathetic and does not show any level of remorse.
So what is his commitment? He's probably the citizen of another country. What is his commitment?
I don't think it's about citizens of another country. It is about management, and the management is
so I have to ask.
responsible board that needs to look at it, and that board should have been accountable to its shareholders. But
Sir,
first
you tell
to
me,
its
Mr. Cherian, you tell me, Air India crash, the CEO still has his job, no one in the board has been removed from office, no one is accountable, minister is in office.
I'm able to hear.
Minister is in office, the same minister who oversaw that crash is still in office. So we've had a crash, we've had a monumental betrayal of the public trust, and the minister is sitting there. I'll tell you why, viewers. Because the TDP supports the government. You upset the TDP, you upset the government. That is what it is.
They are also
arm twisting. You see, the airline arm twist, the alliance partner arm twist, and where do I go?
No, 1 second.
It's not just about arm twisting.
No.
It is what we have allowed this industry to become.
I don't want to.
Mr. Varun Kumar, you answer me a question.
Yes.
God forbid tomorrow there is a mishap because of crew fatigue. Will you take responsibility? Will your boss man take responsibility? Will the minister take responsibility? I'm asking you, will you? Yes, no. Tell me, hand on your heart, will you resign? Will you quit politics?
Rahul ji, let me tell no, before this,
Tell
let me
me,
tell you
sir.
this. Let me tell you this, Rahul ji. You need to allow me a minute.
No,
Rahul
I
ji.
don't need to allow you anything. I need you to answer
Okay.
me a question.
Exactly.
I'm asking you,
Let me
if
answer
tomorrow
it.
there is a mishap and it is related to crew fatigue, will Mr. Naidu,
Rahul ji,
who is the minister, who
crew
is the
fatigue was
aviation minister, will he submit himself?
Crew fatigue was the basic element around which these norms of FADL came across from the DCGA and from the Ministry of Civil Aviation, to which Indigo did not adhere to, and that's the reason today India, the passengers across the country are suffering. And the first priority, let me be honest.
See, don't
The
tell
first
me what
priority
we
from the
already know.
No,
I'm asking you about
Rahul ji,
accountability. If tomorrow there
let
is
me tell
something.
You, let me tell you about that accountability. I'm talking about accountability. Rahul
Sir,
ji,
do
give me
you
a
know
minute, give me
how
a minute.
many people have been inconvenienced?
Of course,
We
yes.
are talking about
Definitely, yes.
600,000 people inconvenienced.
Yes, Rahul ji.
600,000 over 2 days. This is
Yes,
unheard of.
whatever I
In
say
any
is
other
not going to take
country,
away their pain,
the
I'm
minister
sure.
would have resigned. 1 minute, let me bring in Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao, are you satisfied by what Mr. Kumar is telling us this
I've
evening?
not said anything, Rahul ji. I've not said anything yet. I've not said
Absolutely.
anything yet. Allow me to tell me. Allow me to tell you,
Rahul,
please. Allow me to tell you. Allow me to tell.
Rahul,
I know I'm not.
Okay,
I
1
know I'm
minute.
take the
Mr.
bullet
Kumar,
here.
what do you have to say in your defense? Tell me.
See, no, it's not about. No, I'm not in the defense about it. And let me tell you the facts here. See, Rahul ji, the crew fatigue element that you mentioned was the actual basis on which these regulations were laid out. And from the moment we know that there's something wrong that's happening with the Indigo, where passengers were stuck, a war room was established as on immediately, and the ministry, including the senior staff, were stationed there, were monitoring an R2R experience. And today, the priority of war room is to evacuate all the passengers to their respective destinations from the airport, where they're stranded for days together. It's absolute inconvenience to women, children, and senior citizens. And so, with the ministry's acceleration towards this process, we are actually evacuating from the airports to their respective destinations. That's the first priority now. And I'm sure whatever you're talking actually makes sense about.
Mr. Varun Kumar,
Let me come there.
Mr. Varun Kumar, you create the situation, you create the crisis. Then, instead of addressing it through accountability, you're looking for quick fixes. Everything will go back to normal tomorrow, viewers.
No,
Of course,
not,
it'll be
Rahul.
back to
Definitely not.
business. And this is the
Accountability-
underhand kind of business, viewers, that Mr. No, 1 second. That Mr. Rao is talking
Accountability
about.
starts from-
Underhand kind of
accountability
business,
starts
it'll all
from-
go back to Mr. Rao.
Doesn't
Please.
accountability start from
Yes.
moving
Listen,
the
don't
passengers to
give
their
me these
respective
homilies.
destinations?
Accountability would have already come through. The minister would have put in his resignation and said, thank you very much. I failed. Let someone else now settle this issue and fix it. An air crash has gone down, minister doesn't move. Viewers, this is accountability in the Modi government. This is what it is. And it looks like. Sorry.
Let-
We
Let me
need heads to roll. We need accountability here. Otherwise, this will be a repeat passion. And viewers, for God's sakes, they've gone back to the old system that they wanted to reform because they thought it was not safe for you. What does that tell you? That your value of your life is zero to these people.
Zero.
Absolutely zero, isn't it, Mr. Rao?
This is
Yes,
only an abeyance for now.
Absolutely,
Rahul ji,
Mr.
to
Varun
get
Kumar
passengers
is
back to their
only
respective
mouthing
destinations.
platitudes. But
Absolutely
it
no,
doesn't
Rahul ji.
serve
No,
any
Rahul ji,
purpose.
with all due respects, Rahul
They,
ji, no,
they
that's not what I'm
they
doing.
have a war room. I mean,
Rahul ji,
they're-
that's
they're-
not
they're
what
Mr.
I'm
doing
Kumar,
is
doing.
one
taking
second.
after the
Listen to
horses
Mr.
run.
Rao. At least have the humility to listen to somebody
Please,
else.
yes.
After endangering
See, they are-
millions of passengers.
Yes.
It is nothing, it's a habit. It is an incorrigible habit that has taken on from 2008. I'm telling you, Rahul, I've got documents, we filed cases. DGCA didn't have the gumption to file replies as to how many dispensations they gave in the court. I fought it in court. I have a magistrate who says, I don't think flight safety is such a big issue. Now, what do I go and tell the judge?
Mr.
What do I
Damania,
go and
where
tell
does the buck
magistrate?
stop? Where does the buck
The
stop?
buck
Tell
stops
us.
with the minister.
Tell us, Mr.
The buck stops
Damania,
at the
tell us,
minister.
Mr. Damania, tell us, where does the buck stop? You tell me.
No, the buck stops. The buck stops with the management of the Indigo.
Wow.
The board has to take a quick decision, remove the CEO or whoever is responsible for the mess. The government, the ministry has to pull up these people, take whatever action possible to stop this, bring all the regulations that are required for safety of the passengers, for safety of the crew, and nobody can take this lightly. The buck stops. The ministry, the civil aviation
Viewers,
minister,
this is
Indigo team,
I'll tell you
everybody
what
has
this
to take
is, viewers.
responsibility.
This is a closed, little cozy club. Let me tell you this. This is what it is. It's a closed, cozy club. The regulator looks the other way. Are we being told that the regulator is so dumb that they gave 2 extensions on a safety issue to an airline over 2 years and they didn't know what they were doing? And we have Mr. Damania telling us that the airline should be punished. That is the softest target. Not important people sit on that. Who knows this CEO? Tomorrow this CEO will be sitting on, I'll tell you, with particular channel viewers, and he'll get a soft ride there. A beautiful interview with a crafted set and be given 5 stars and a sympathetic hearing. That's what's going to happen. Let me tell you this, viewers. You can take it from me in writing. It's a gravy train. And Mr. Rao is absolutely right tonight. Mr. Rao, I'll let you have the last word on this. This is very, very important. Please listen, viewers, to Mr.
Can I have
Rao.
a minute, please?
See, Rahul, nothing
Rahul,
is
you can
going
have a
to
minute,
change in this country. Because the rot is from the top to the bottom. Mr. Varun Kumar can come here and say we have a war room, we have a war chest, everything. Is he going to say that? Let me tell you, Rahul, honestly, I am a victim of the Indigo crisis. My family is stuck in various destinations, but I'm not getting into that. But flight safety doesn't seem to bother anybody at all. Indian lives have no value. It is their promotions, they're filling their pockets. Mr. Varun can shake his head. I have documented this. Mr. Varun,
with all due respect, Rauji,
Varun, if your minister has the guts and the gumption, have a debate with me, have a meeting with me, and I will show him the documents as how DGCA fudged records from 2008 onwards, and your minister is sleeping on it. Because his years have been filled by these very officers who have filled their coffers. And I make this statement with full responsibility, Mr. Varun Kumar.
With
Let
all
me
due
make that
respect,
very, very clear. Okay? We did try to get a message across to the minister saying, sir, there is a lot amiss in the Civil Aviation Ministry. Let us talk.
Mr. Varun Kumar, it's not as if the minister doesn't know. That's the question. Respond. Please respond.
with all due respect, Rauji, that's not what I was shaking my head for. I'm sorry if I'm being misunderstood, but let me also tell you from the devil's advocate perspective on the Indigo side also. I'm sure Indigo is definitely the first-hand culprit here, no doubt about it. The market expansion without regulatory expansion produces magnitude without resilience. I agree with it. And a firm that carries half of the nation, it should function more like an infrastructure than like an enterprise itself. There's no doubt about it also. But whatever integrity that we're bringing to the table today in terms of addressing the issue on priority where passengers are stuck and moving them to the respective destinations, actually saving their first priority I'm not talking about flight safety. Flight safety, yes, is the paramount thing. That's the whole reason why these FTDML rules came into place. If there was no crew fatigue and flight safety.
Viewers, we are not going to let go of this story till there is accountability. Heads must roll. This time it's non-negotiable. We've been reporting on the aviation sector now since the day of the Air India crash, pointing out the problems. And today we have crossed another unacceptable threshold in negligence. And this, viewers, is going to be very hard to live down. Let me tell you this.